Hello everyone, and as part of our look at Rotary International of Scottsbluff and Gering celebrating their 100th anniversary, we're going to be taking a look at some of the local projects and future projects that Rotary will be involved in and that they're looking at. And my guest today is Megan Heyward. Thank you very much for joining us,
Thank you for having me.
I guess first let's talk a little bit about your involvement in Rotary International. I understand you've been involved for now 5 years?
Right.
What attracted you to the organization?
I was looking for an organization here in town to get involved in. I wanted to give back some of my time, and we have plenty of great opportunities to volunteer in our community with service organizations, but Rotary really stood out to me as it has a lot of business leaders in it, and obviously that's where I'm headed or am as a business leader, and so that really seemed like a good fit for me.
Kind of a nice fit and a nice draw for you. Now,
yes.
and you mentioned donating time. You know, in a lot of cases, yes, donating money very helpful, but in many cases, a lot of times it's just the value of your time that you can donate.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about that, because not many people realize that in fact is one of the big things that's out there, especially involving Rotary. So
we talk about this all the time in Rotary. There are people out there who can donate with their money, and there are people who can donate with both, and there are people who can donate with time. And so a lot of these organizations need people with time too. So like I help, I'm the secretary of our club, I help manage our attendance, I help manage all the emails and the communication between everybody. So kind of having a big picture of what's going on, and that takes a lot of time, but someone's got to do it, right? And so we all have some time we can volunteer. Some people have more than others. I own a business full-time, and I have 2 kids, so I'm busy too.
Yeah, you're very busy. Yeah.
I'm busy too, but I make the time because it's important to give back to our community. We have a better community for everybody when everybody pitches in a little extra time.
Yeah, and of course, if somebody is interested in becoming a Rotarian, there is a process to go through.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that from the personal perspective of going through the application and the sponsorship process.
So when I was interested in becoming a Rotarian, I actually knew a Rotarian, and so I started talking to them about like that process. And what that process involves is you have a sponsor, and they'll bring you to lunch. And if that seems like something you really want to go down becoming a Rotarian, then they bring you back for a couple more lunches. You have to have 3 total. And there's an application process where you just fill out what other organizations you're involved in, what business you're involved in, a little bit of information about yourself, and then we review that as there's a membership committee who reviews it, and then our board reviews it, and then we put it out there to the whole entire membership to see if there's any hesitations of why you should not be a Rotarian in our club. But it's a pretty easy process, honestly, and doesn't take too long. And we would love to see anybody who wants to be a Rotarian come talk to us.
Yeah, it sounds like an intensive process, but it isn't necessarily.
It isn't. No. No.
But there is the entire membership that does basically kind of vote on new membership, and with good reason. We want to have people that are going to be involved and
we want quality people.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Megan here is going to be talking about future projects and some of the more recent local projects as well, and we'll be back in just a moment to tell you about that. And we're back, and my guest is Megan Heyward, who is the secretary for the Rotary International of Scottsbluff and Gering Club here. Right. Again, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We've been talking a little bit about her experience becoming a Rotarian, and over the 5 years that she's been there, she's been involved in quite a number of local projects. We've had some here in the past fairly recently. One of them was the Little Free Libraries.
Correct.
Explain how that process came about and where that idea generated and how it came to fruition.
So Rotary International is set up obviously worldwide, but then they have districts that were divided into, and district was offering a matching grant. So they were going to give us money if we put money forward. So we were trying to figure out how to best use that money, and one of the ideas that came up was a Little Free Library. Little Free Libraries are great for people with disabilities or people in need, or just people who can't get to a regular library or can't afford to purchase books. These are a great opportunity to share and meet those needs. And so we had talked with the city administrations in both cities of Scottsbluff and Gering, and asked them if they would be interested in participating in that type of project. And both libraries and city administration said yes, we're behind that. And then the Scottsbluff High School, they assisted us with actually like building them.
Okay.
And so you can actually purchase kits to make your own little free library online. But going to the Scottsbluff High School and purchasing the materials raw, we were able to actually make 6 versus the 4 that we would have purchased in a kit. So we sent 3 to the city of Gering and 3 to the city of Scottsbluff. And they seem to be going over well and pretty popular.
So I guess that kind of begs the question of who decides what gets stocked where?
Okay, so the librarians, the Friends of the Libraries in both cities, Scottsbluff and Gering, are helping to stock the libraries from, like, keep making sure that they're staying stocked and checking on them. But the general population, the community, is actually the people putting the books in. So the concept is leave a book, take a book, right? So like you're sharing the resources you have, and in return you're also getting to see everybody else's books. So
it's kind of neat. Kind of a neat little project. Of course, that's not the only thing that Rotary has been involved in or will be involved in going forward. I understand that there are maybe a number of potential projects that Rotary International here locally will be working on. Give us a couple of examples if you can.
So every year we try to do some type of fundraiser to help fund other organizations or other projects that are going on in the community. We are also looking at service projects. In the past, we've maybe planted trees up at like soccer complex or some other things. And coming up shortly, we're looking at helping with a youth shelter here in town and painting and helping with some other projects that they need help with around the shelter.
Oh, that's kind of a neat idea. And of course, if there are organizations that are out there that may want or need the help of the Rotarians, how do they do that?
You can reach out to me. You can reach out to our president, Mike Downey, through the bank, or there's multiple ways to reach out to us, but reach out to any Rotarian and they can get you in contact with the correct person.
So a really neat program that Rotary International has here locally when it comes to getting involved, and not only on an international or national stage, if you will, depending on the projects, but also here locally with projects that may seem not necessarily gigantic, but they do have an impact. Every small effort does have an impact in a community like ours.
Right.
Megan, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.